Okay, guys. We just did the Mondays Mimosas, titled Redesigning Common Problem Areas. I'd like to thank the brave souls who submitted pictures, so that we can kind of guide you and the rest of our customers into fixing any areas that might be bugging you. And we had a lot of good insight as we were going through the live presentation, but it was just really hard to record this presentation and all of the live questions. So I'll kind of be filling you guys in on what you missed, but we will get started. So some common areas that we see when people come in and they're like, this just isn't sitting right, we don't like how it looks, etc., are above toilets and like bathroom walls, above towel racks, etc. Sideboards, mantles, coffee tables, bookcases, which we've done Mondays Mimosas demo on. So go back on our website and look at that, where you found this one. And then top of cabinets, especially in the kitchen. We also did a demo on this that's listed on our website. Go back and look at that. So we're starting with the bathroom, good and bad. A little interactive demo that we did was try to guess which one I don't love. A lot of people got this wrong, and not that it's wrong, do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what looks pretty. The middle one I don't love. I am against a floating shelf. I think it can skew a little bit IKEA, which if that's your thing, go for it. It's not my thing. I think we can do better and make our space look a little bit more rich and colorful and just a little more curated. So I'm also against a word art. Their florals don't match, or their greeneries don't match. And I would prefer to kind of conceal the toilet paper rolls, which the two side photos do way better. These kind of like enclosed baskets, again, are adding texture and depth and concealing the stuff that we don't care if our customers see. And then above the toilets, they're also using art that again just looks a little bit more curated. Like you found it and you really love it, rather than you just went to a big box store and picked something that your neighbor has. So yeah. Any other questions, email us. You can always email us. It's inquiries 3frenchhens at gmail.com. I know it's long, but it's worth it. We'll answer all your questions. Next is sideboards. This first picture is kind of a good example of something that you would think would be wrong based off of my like general rules of thumb, but it works. What I like about it is the art that they chose looks like something that they actually love. There's a stack of books. Anyone who knows me knows I love a book. I probably own 600 books. I'm not being dramatic at all. I love that lamp. I think it's really different and fun, and I think the orchid adds a little bit of a softer texture. Typically I'd want something in the middle of a sideboard to be shorter, but I think the softness of the orchid makes it work, and it's grounded by that kind of like terracotta clay pot. Anyway, I love how warm it all feels and looks too, and it's still pretty like light and airy. So these are three more examples. So we're going to start with the one on the left. The first thing that catches my eye is that sideboard is pretty big, and the painting that they have on top of it is a good size. It just needs to be brought down to about 6 inches off of the sideboard. It looks to be about 12 inches, which is 6 inches too high. So bring it down. A good rule of thumb is 4 to 10 inches, and that is based off of scale. So 10 inches would be on like a huge, ginormous mantle, or something where you have to kind of look up and you don't want the painting to be blocked by the mantle. That's really the only reason that I would say you can hang it that high. Otherwise, 6 inches is a really good rule of thumb. So bring that down, and you always kind of want to make with your decor a V shape. So you want the tall things to be on the outside. You always want them to hit half to 3/4 of the way up your art or your focal point. So that big pot with the purple florals is really, really cool, and it's hitting at the right spot if they move the painting down. I would kind of mirror that by moving the candlesticks over where that lamp is, getting rid of the lamp. It's way too small in proportion to the sideboard, and then move that dough bowl kind of in the middle to create that V shape. I would add maybe a little more greenery as well, and then I would flip those books around so that you could see the color and the texture. And then probably add something layered with the candlesticks. The middle, this is a really good example of my rule of thumb, which is art that covers like the whole space. It's hung at a really good height. The lamps on either side are hitting the painting at the right spot. And we're kind of creating that V shape. I would probably switch that little black sculpture with the pot that has the greenery in it, again, just to emphasize, accentuate that V shape. But I love all these pieces together. I love that there's 6 prints instead of like one big thing. If you don't want one big piece of art, this is a really good alternative. And then the third picture, I get a lot of hate for this, but pick 3 to 5 family photos per room. Beautiful family. I love that it's displayed, but the pictures on the chest are just not adding any texture or interest to this chest that I think is actually really beautifully decorated. Um, I like the lamp, and typically on a chest, if you're gonna do a lamp, I prefer to do 2 lamps. This is a really good, I'm gonna let this one slide because I like how they have it still in the V shape. I like the orchids that they have, and it's a really good height. And again, I would bring that family photo down to where it's about 6 inches off of the chest, and then I would replace those family photos with either like a little print, a little tiny oil painting, or just like a statue, a sculpture, something that's going to add more texture. 3 to 5 family photos per room. I love it. I love your kids. I love your grandkids. They're gorgeous. But we just want to add a little bit more texture and make it a little more curated. Okay, next. Okay, some interactive practice. This is a room that a volunteer submitted. Dining room, obviously. So we've got a mirror, a round mirror. We've got floral, a big floral. We've got 2 little urns, glass table. So we really need to just warm this space up. The sideboard and the tabletop decor need updating. They need texture. They need warmth, layers. We could keep the arrangement. It needs a tiny bit of updating. Again, just some color, texture, warmth. It's a lot of the same colors. And then I'm going to go back. These balls that are in it are kind of like drawing all of the attention instead of letting the attention be on the rest of the beautiful arrangement. So we would take that away, and then we would remove all of the stuff on the sideboard, and then this is how we would update it. Use your imagination a little bit on the artwork, but we would find a big, huge, beautiful oil painting. Again, add texture. Oil paintings are a great, easy way to do that. Texture, color, just making it look a little more rich. A mirror really doesn't add any of those elements. I would put greenery, a low simple greenery on that sideboard, 2 lamps. And if you're a minimalist, that's fine. Leave it as it is. If you're a maximalist like me, I love a layer. Anyone who's come to any of my Mondays Mimosas or workshops knows I love stuff, and I think more is more. But if you're a minimalist, I would be fine with the artwork, the lamps, the greenery. If you're like me, I would add candlesticks, books, etc., between the lamp and the greenery. And then on the glass table, at the very least, we need to add a big, gorgeous, texture-filled, that's a new word, greenery. The biggest mistake people make here is getting a floral that's too small because they're scared it's going to take up too much room on the table. If you're using your table for dinner, take that greenery away, or that arrangement. Like, take it away, leave the table for eating. But while it's just not being used, get a big, fun, dramatic arrangement. And then we would also probably add a runner. We didn't add it in this photo, but we would probably add a really pretty fabric runner, just again to soften. Everything in this room is a little bit hard and cold. We would soften it up. Okay. So here's kind of a little before and after. Again, use your imagination on the artwork, but like we're adding color, we're adding texture, we're tying the table and the sideboard together with the greenery, we're adding lamps. Ambient lighting is all the rage right now, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. So like those overhead lights, the can lights, we're using lamps, we're using candles, we're using anything except for harsh overhead lighting. You look way better when you're not lit from above. Okay, we're moving on to tops of cabinets. We use this picture because it's breaking every single rule I have, but it works. So the biggest rule when you're doing cabinets, which we have a lot of like the bad examples on the next slide, but here, people, Judy, who works here, has a really good way of explaining it. Is people line up their decor as if they were little toy soldiers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a million things on the top of the cabinets, but they're all like equally spaced out as if you just went and bought a bunch of stuff and just set it up there. We want it to be very thoughtfully arranged. We want it to be a really nice mix of like color and texture. Again, I know I've said texture, I know I've said color, and I know I've said layers. I'm beating a dead horse because it's important. But here it works. The plates are really, really pretty. It's simple. Again, if you're a minimalist, this is something that I would not be mad about. The 3 plates, they work really well. The 2 different color texture patterns are really pretty and they play well together. And then they break up that um, the hard ceramic plate with a really pretty like terracotta pot with a little fern. So it's like it's making it feel more warm and soft. Next slide. So we've got 3 examples that are pretty, the 2 of them are pretty scary. One of them is okay. There are things I'd change. So the first one, obviously it's just a little outdated. We're getting rid of the ivy. We're getting rid of the grapes. They do have color and texture up there. We need height. So you can go almost up to the ceilings with your like back layers. And again, I've done workshops on this, so go to my full video, but see how everything is lined up like a toy soldier. You're going to want to group things together in 3s and 5s. You're going to want to add height, add layers to that. I would pick like 3 things up there that you're obsessed with if you want to keep any of it, and then start from scratch there. Otherwise, you're just not going to notice enough of a change. So the middle one, not bad, good start. I hate a word art. I think like your neighbor probably has that. You want to find something that is more you and speaks to you. It's so good to be home. Everyone knows that. Everyone agrees. You're not making any statements here. But I would take that and to just elevate the middle scene a little bit, I would layer this milk jug in front of the lantern. Get a different piece of artwork. I like how tall it is because it almost touches the ceiling. Get a different piece of artwork, more color, more texture. Layer it behind the milk jug and the lantern, so you're getting a little vignette of 3. And then same with the other little milk jugs with the greenery, the candlesticks, and the bird cage. Just kind of like group those together so that it's more of a little grouping. I would add some books, again, more color. I love using a cookbook in a kitchen for color and layer and texture, just because it goes and it's cute and it's fun. And then the last picture, I wish that we could show the whole picture because there was probably 14 of these ivy bushes on top of these cabinets. A little terrifying. We're taking all of that down. Ivy has its place. It's not here. So again, they have so much room above the cabinets that they could do something really huge, a really cool weather vane. You could put an antique chair up there. They have so much room that you could just like really play with, that they really just didn't take advantage of. Color, texture, pottery, paintings, etc. Like you can put so much stuff up there. And then I had someone ask if you can paint above the cabinets, like to the ceiling, to differentiate that space. If you feel like you need to do that, that's when you need to find the paintings, layer the baskets, like find those big pieces to set behind your decor that's really going to differentiate that space, and it needs to be big enough. Okay, we're moving on to coffee tables. I love a coffee table decor. I've really been loving a coffee table styling lately. I love books, you know that. I love like any magazine you're loving. I have an issue of Architectural Digest that I really love. I have an issue of the St. Louis Homes and Lifestyles that I'm in because I love me. And so I have like those. I have a candle. I have greenery. I have a bunch of stuff. This is not my coffee table, but it's a really good example of like mixing the texture. We have the basket. We have the pottery. We have the other pottery. We have the greenery, the lavender. We have those little beads, books. Love it. I love the 3 different heights. It's really, really cool. So here's another example someone sent in of their room that they need help with. There's a lot of candlesticks going on, and everything kind of looks the same. So another quote from the live presentation was, coordinate, don't match. So all of these candlesticks in this little container, they all kind of just look the same. So we're going to get rid of all of those. We could use the greeneries that are up on the mantle, and if it's possible to take that mirror down, I would. And if not, we're just going to add in front of it to create that layer. I'm not a huge fan of a mirror because, as you can see, it just reflects the other wall. So it's not adding any other color or texture or interest to the room. It's just reflecting the ceiling and the top of that back wall. So this is it. We used a little Photoshop, use your imagination. We got rid of the stuff and we're going to rebuild it using. So, like, a lot of people have a family heirloom, something that is really special to them that they want to keep, and they'll be like, I know it's not your favorite, probably, which is not a thing. If we want to use a couple things, that's totally fine. So, we picked this ceramic orb to keep on the coffee table, layered on top of some vintage books. We don't have a picture of the 10 wick candle, but we have a really pretty, like, shallow 10 wick candle at the store. It's in like a really pretty copper container, which would be really, really pretty on here. And then a big, beautiful, gorgeous floral again to soften up that whole space. And that will make it to where the coffee table has 3 different levels of decor. So a low, a medium, and then the floral is the high. We removed the candlesticks on the hearth were not really adding much, so we just took those away. If it's not adding and it's not something that's really cool and interesting, take it away. And then up top, again, use your imagination for this artwork, but you want it to be really, really big and you want it to make a statement. Again, color, texture, something as a layer. We found some really big, pretty finials that would look really cool up there if it's deep enough. Again, they're like hitting halfway above the art or halfway of the artwork height, and it's placed at a good level above the mantle, probably like 8 inches, which is perfect. And then we can use the greenery that she had on it before, or we can try to tie in the floral on the coffee table with these like really pretty boxwood topiaries. So you can kind of see in this slide a little bit of a before and after. Again, it adds color, it adds texture. We're getting rid of that mirror, which isn't adding anything to the room, etc. Okay, dining room. This one's from the store, so we've got a lot of stuff on the table. More is more. Obviously, we only have 4 place settings in this. We would have 6 because there's 6 chairs, but another brave soul sending in their dining room. We appreciate it. Okay, so good start. There are colors in here, which I appreciate. She wanted to know with the shelves, what we're going to do with the shelves, and then on the table. And then we would love to see sconces on the outside wall too. So we would take down those shelves. We need more texture on the table. And then we would probably add a little sconce. Again, you're using your imagination. We're going to do one big artwork on that wall. Or if you don't want to do one big artwork, you can do 4 little prints and a little collage. Or if you have a ton of little prints, you can do a big collage. It just has to be really well thought out. Happy to help. Send me pictures, bring pictures in, and I will for sure help you. And then I would love like a really pretty paneled sconce on either side of her china cabinet. And then again for the table, just a really big, pretty floral with a lot of good texture. We literally used the same one because it works. Don't get too small. And then if you wanted to use the glass hurricanes that you had before, you can put them on either side, fill them with something really fun, colorful. We have these like really cute mini apples or mini artichokes that would play really well with that. But again, we're doing texture, we're adding color, we're adding ambient lighting, etc. Okay. Here's a little before and after. Again, use your imagination on the artwork. That's what I would do. So anyway, always bring pictures into the store. That's the end of our presentation. Bring pictures into the store. We're happy to help you from here. Or we do the in-home design services. So a designer from Three French Hens will come out. We'll do a little consultation, and then we will work with you from there on projects big and small. Thank you so much for listening.